just talking for 5 months and you ain't effing. What you expect? I was like, first 8 minutes, I was like, let's talk about it.
I mean, that wasn't necessarily the point. It was just like,
But that's what y'all kept harping on, like. What? Like, so basically, so I sent it to some people and niggas was like, well, if she ain't really giving it up like that, she could only expect so much. Oh, I was going in on them. You know that.
she couldn't.
So you gotta give up some coochie to make sure you have a good birthday. That's wild.
No. His behavior was appalling, and he
Appalling.
definitely was the birthday demon. He could have put forth some effort. Now,
I would have stopped talking to him off the strength of you showed up late. I mean, you showed up drunk. Oh no. What makes a partner a liability? I think that's more what we should talk about.
what makes a partner?
Or I just want to talk about how your intentions or your expectations should be delivered. But we can, break that up into subsections. That's the part I wanted to touch on.
How should intentions be delivered?
Yeah, like how should your expectations or your intentions be delivered? Should it be passive aggressive or should it be direct and understandable?
We're not talking about OJ.
And I'm surprised that Shauna miss straight up indirect was bad at his response. I think she just don't like how he said what he said to her.
Cause no, it was laced in passive aggressiveness. I don't like that. Don't be passive aggressive. That's really being passive aggressive is really a indication that you are immature. Like you're immature. Why do you have to be passive aggressive? There's a way to say that. You don't know this woman. It's a way to say that. Cause sir, them big boot cut jeans that you got on with them ugly boots, she could have said something about that.
See, now that's been very passive aggressive.
No, that's being direct, brutally honest. Let you tell it.
So I don't really know what y'all talking about. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. Welcome everybody to Heartbreak State of Mind. If you've been joining us for a while, welcome back. If you're new, hi. I am your introist KC, here with the First Lady, LaShawna.
What's going on?
And Mr. Black Cut Suit himself, LaMarcus.
I'm here to defend the innocent.
And this is Heartbreak State of Mind. Welcome. But we're not going to dilly-dally. We're going to go ahead and get into it today.
Wow.
Yeah, dilly-dally. I got a entire repertoire of sayings that is going to come out of the blue.
I love it.
What makes a partner a liability? Of course, we're talking about the viral clip of the dating show. I don't know what the dating show is called. If you, any
Balloon
of you can.
Pop. It's a Balloon Pop dating show.
The Balloon Pop. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Balloon Pop.
But in this viral clip, this viral clip of the Balloon Pop dating show, a gentleman claims that a young lady is a liability as to why he popped this balloon. And I just want to ask y'all, what makes a partner a liability?
I think.
Yeah, LaMarcus, you start this off because it seems like something you would be really, really ready.
As he puts on his glasses.
I think, my good sir, his reasoning was perfectly conveyed. He explained to the young lady that she was young and she wasn't sure what she wanted, and she wasn't. I think that he was basically saying she wasn't in line with where he was in life, and he didn't want to slow down for her to catch up. Um, Now, the argument has been made that he didn't quite know this young lady, but she didn't necessarily disagree, maybe because she didn't know what to say. I just want to I just feel like him being as direct and upfront with her, because he could have, got with this young lady in any other setting that they would have met. He could have got with this young lady and, what I'm saying, tried to change her, tried to make her into something she wasn't. I actually have a friend who's dealt with a couple or a couple of females that was younger than him and not on the same career path as him. And he's always argued about how, they didn't know how to do this or do that, and how he had to be in charge of everything, how he had to show them this and teach them that. So I feel like,
Be a
and
man and lead.
it's a difference from leading and teaching. And you, my good ma'am, have also spoke on how a woman shouldn't have to teach a man, and a man shouldn't have to teach a woman. Like,
I don't agree
there's
with
some things
that.
we may have to teach each other about each other, but if we are at complete different points of life, I can't slow down for you to catch up, just like you wouldn't slow down for me to catch up. If you were a successful businesswoman and you had so much of this going on, you want a partner that aligns with what you have going on, that it can at least hold their own without you holding their hand, correct?
I think sometimes you need a partner to slow you down, depending on what your path is and what you're looking for and what you need. I think I find it a bit problematic that a man would complain about having to teach a woman something when men talk about wanting to lead and how they want to be, or unless men don't want to lead. I
I don't
thought
think
I
it's
thought leadership comes with teaching and development and those type of things. Now, I'm not talking about the basic things of life, but as a man, if you can't teach a woman something, why would she be with you?
I sometimes, so it's a difference from me having to start with, you know, he felt like she was just in her immaturity stage. To whereas, because he mentioned a couple of times, oh, you don't know where you want what you want, and you're not, like, she wasn't on her career path where she wanted to be, or whatever the case was. To where he felt like, me taking you on into my life, you're just a responsibility, aka a lot, excuse me, a liability, because I'm gonna have to fund your whole life and then teach you how to fund your own life. You feel what I'm saying? So he could have got with this woman, and she could have been rejective to him being that teacher or that leader. Like, oh, you always want me to do things this way. You think everything need to be done your way. Oh, nothing I do
Yeah,
is right.
but that's what ifs, and that's creating a narrative. He didn't ask any clarifying questions to see how flexible she is. Why doesn't she know what her career path is? Is she in a career path and it pays the bills, but it's not what she's truly passionate about? I think it's more about what you have the capacity for. He doesn't have the capacity for that. That doesn't mean that she's a liability. It just means that he doesn't have the capacity in his life or the desire to be with someone who is not clear on where they want to be at this present moment. That doesn't mean she's a liability.
That makes her a liability to him. That she's not an all around liability. She's not a liability to all man. She's not even a liability. She may not be a liability to another man of his stature. However, where he's at in his mind, like you said, with him not having the capacity to take on that particular type of responsibility to carry her from step one to where he's at, she's a liability to him. And
I
I
think
think
it was passive aggressive for him to say that. Like, you're saying this woman is a liability. Just say, hey, it's not my desire. I don't have the capacity to date someone who's currently where you are, but I wish you the best. We don't have to try to like throw shots at somebody to say that, like, at the end of the day, because I'm sure there was a point in his life where he didn't have it all figured out. The girl was like 23 and he was 35. At 35, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of things figured out. So instead of trying to be all passive aggressive and throw this little shade, which is real sassy, just be honest about, hey, you know what? I don't have the capacity for it and keep it moving. Because when a woman starts to say that a man is a liability because she makes more money than him, now she's wrong. But when a man says it, he's just being open and honest.
Judge, this is not a battle of the sexes. This
It's a
is
double standard. It's a double standard.
it's really not, because had that been a woman, especially a woman of business or a woman of movement, as we say in the urban community, motion, right now, in her, and she conveyed to him, "Oh, honey, you 28, or you 30, or oh, you ain't got no job, or you still trying to figure out you between jobs. Oh, nah, I ain't got time for that." Women,
That's
whoa,
no,
hold
that's
on.
wisdom.
Women would have
She
been.
didn't say she
Women,
didn't have a job. A
listen,
man,
I'm not saying that she didn't. What I'm saying is, whether that man could have told that woman, "Oh yeah, I'm working
no.
at Target right now. I'm trying to be the manager, but I'm just starting at the lower level, trying to work my way up." If a woman said, "Well, you not where I need you to be right now," every woman would agree with that.
Every
Every
woman
woman
will
would
not
agree.
agree because the men in Target be in relationships and be married. So what are we talking about? The men who work at the gas station, relationship.
Judge, judge,
Do you act like you act like all these men are single? It's about what a person personally has the capacity for. At the end of
however,
the day, you keep saying that like women don't date men who have 9 to 5 jobs, who
no, all
make
I'm saying is,
$12 an hour. It doesn't make sense. Don't, ladies, listen. If that man is between jobs and his money ain't right, be his friend. Because when a man's money is not right, that man cannot be at his highest self. Men, when their money not right, they typically have bad attitudes. They don't feel well about themselves because you
but
guys see
women
yourself.
operate
Hold on.
different.
You guys see yourself for what you do and what you have and not for who you are. Now, you can say all day that that's how women perceive you, but if you really were to look at yourself and how you measure your success on your value, it has a lot to do with what you do and what you have.
But first
Any
of all,
woman who's dated a man who money ain't right will tell you that.
we talk about the same person that said a man shouldn't even be dating if his money ain't all the way right, or
I
a man
don't think,
date at his level. Like you shouldn't even
yeah.
trying to date a businesswoman if you not about business, or if you're not an entrepreneur.
That's not what I said. An entrepreneur doesn't have to marry an
I'm
entrepreneur. But if
entrepreneur,
you're
but I'm
between,
saying about business. Like if
oh,
you're a worker, if you are a mid level or entry level worker, you shouldn't be trying to mess with a boss because you couldn't mentally handle what she has to deal with
that's not
and what you
true.
have to
I
deal.
don't I don't agree with that. I think you should date at your bracket. If that woman, if her expectation is, hey, I like to go nice places, I like to do nice things, and you can't provide that for her, then no, you shouldn't choose that woman
And that's
because
he was conveying to that lady. Like, look,
no, it's
he might
not.
want
But
to go to a nice restaurant. You got on a goddamn Nike outfit. You
but
too.
my
He
no, that's not the same
at
thing.
the same.
That woman is not calling that man a liability. So you're telling me that it is wise for a man who does not have a job, it's wise for him. I'm not talking about he's already had someone that he has built something with, or, someone he's been talking to for, a little while, whatever. You think it's wise for a man to not have a job and be actively pursuing women?
You're telling me
No,
a
no, no,
woman
no.
can
I'm
date
asking you a
at
question.
any of. Hold
I'm
on.
not. No, no,
You
no, no. You hold on. I'm not asking. I'm asking you a question. I'm not telling you to ask me what I think. I'm asking you a question. Is it wise if I came to you and I said, "Hey, Lamarcus, like this
judge
guy,
the counsel.
this guy is out actively dating, but he doesn't have a job." You think that that's wise for that man to do that?
I think that I don't see what one has to do with the other. This woman may be the woman that helps him get to where he need to be. You said on multiple occasions a woman can come into a man's life and bring organization. So him dating this woman or meeting this woman, what may be what he needs to move to the next level. Maybe
How
he
is
don't
he
know
gonna
how to.
date her? How is he gonna date her if he doesn't have a job?
What does having a job have to do with dating?
So what, we just gonna chill at home all the time?
See, that's what I'm saying.
Gonna go to the
You're
park.
look exactly
We
like.
can do
Oh,
that. We
wait a
can
minute.
do that.
So
We
you
can go
telling
to the
me
park.
no matter what skill level I might possess, if I'm not actively pursuing it or if it's not actively paying off for me at the time, I can't date
I'm not.
anybody.
If you do not, me personally, I think it's less about the fact that you're less than because you don't have a job. But I wouldn't feel comfortable with a man not having a job and
Because
dating
that's
me.
the
No,
capacity
listen.
you're at.
If he
That's
met
the,
me,
that's,
no.
that's
If
the level of your capacity.
it's not
You
about
you can't take a
capacity,
man fresh out of prison who has some kind of trade he might have learned in prison.
no.
Exactly. That's just your capacity. However, it's plenty of women right now today, writing man that's in prison, dealing with man that's in prison, meeting man that's in prison that they don't even know from a can of paint. But they're
That's not
willing to.
wise though. Just
Why?
because people do it, because
That's an opinionated statement, man.
of course like
That's
it.
that.
So you okay if your daughter says, "Hey, Dad, I know I ain't never met him before, but when he get out, we gonna kick it."
That's her choice. Are you okay if your
I
daughter?
didn't say if it was her choice. We know that
I
you don't like to
said
answer questions. You don't like to
today.
answer questions head up. I didn't
No,
ask you
no,
if
no,
it's
no,
her
no.
choice. I said, "Are you okay with that?" Would you advocate for that and say, "Yeah, baby, I think that's cool."
That's fine. If you see something in him that you can work with, you can build on, that you can bring out of him and help flourish,
Please.
that's fine. So you mean to tell me
Ladies, don't
your
do
daughter
that.
tell you wait, your daughter tell you, oh, I met this dude, he knows how to build houses and he wants to start his own construction company or his own uh building company, whatever or whatever like that. What would your first response be to that?
Okay, cool. I'm
Okay,
not.
hold that. The rest of that statement is he has that skill. He can do that. He wants to start his own company, and he gets out of jail in 3 months.
Okay, be cool with him, but don't be in a relationship with him.
Why?
Listen to me. Ladies.
And then when that man comes up
Ladies,
and
no,
feel
hold
like
on.
you didn't want to be
Ladies,
with me when I was at my lowest, now that
yeah.
I'm up and my company's booming, now all of
And
a sudden you like, oh, let's get married.
no, I don't want to marry you. I can support you. I can encourage you. Hey, like, keep your head up in there. At the end of the day, you got this skill. I believe in what you're doing. But I'm not going to get into a relationship. At the end of the day, we romanticize this whole be with a man at his lowest and all of that. If you're not already in a relationship with that man, I do advocate for, if you're in a relationship with somebody, hold them down. But it is not wise to sit there and hold somebody down when you first met them because you expect a return on your investment. And oftentimes, you're not going to get that return on that investment. Once that man gets to a certain place, his value in the dating world goes up. You have to ask yourself, am I now still, is he gonna, now women are coming after him, all that. Is he gonna look at me and say, she was shooting in the gym with me, she held me down, let me make sure I'm loyal to her, I'm faithful to her? The probability of that is honestly pretty low.
That sounds like a trauma response to me.
So
It's not
That
a
sounds like
trauma response. It's about
no,
wisdom.
like
Sit there
you
and hold
speaking from a
somebody
place
down.
of trauma.
Sit there and
That
hold somebody down that you just met if you want to.
that
so
sounds like,
Lashana,
that sounds
It's
like
not wise. I mean,
you
I'm not
said
doing it.
I don't. I find
I'm
it.
not doing
So
it.
you telling me that this same man that we were talking about in the beginning, if he take this woman and build her up, bring her to the level that he's at, make her her own independent woman who can that's at a higher level than she started. You telling me that she just gonna appreciate what this man has done for her, and now she's gonna
First of all, you're
her
creating a
kids?
narrative. We don't know what that woman had going on. That woman is not at the bottom of the barrel in prison. All this, she has
It
some
doesn't
stability.
matter.
She has some stability. She's just young and growing.
We okay. That's what.
I don't. I wouldn't tell a man. I wouldn't necessarily tell a man to do that. If I was at my lowest, I wouldn't expect a man to just, if he wants to encourage me and support me along the way. I'm not talking about an existing relationship and you fall on hard times and he meets me. I would not feel comfortable with him doing those things for me.
So we're not speaking just about being at your lowest. We're speaking about being at a lower totem pole than the man or the woman that you're trying to date.
No, that's
Like
two
you said,
different
oh, where
things.
we gonna go or what we gonna do? This man's working a regular 9 to 5. He might only be making, let's say he making $15 an hour. Y'all can only hold down a 1 bedroom apartment, and that's only if y'all going 50-50 for
But
real.
first of all, $15 an hour, we can't even get no apartment because we don't make three times the rent.
But this is what I'm saying. Yeah, what I'm saying is,
We must be getting another couple that's gonna be our roommates.
okay. So what I'm saying is, can that same $15 an hour man date a woman that's established making $30 an hour? Is there something wrong with that?
No.
So she can take that man, build him up to where she is.
Again, that man has something in his hands. He may make 15 now, but he has a job. You're giving me different scenarios. That's a big difference between a man who has no job and a man who has a job. And we always like to say 9 to 5s, but people can make really good money being a 9 to 5er. You can be the general manager of Target and be making 6 figures. That's a
So
regular 9 to 5.
I gave you multiple situations because not every, just because I don't have a job doesn't mean I don't have a skill. So I might not have a job, but I have a skill. So
Skills don't pay the bills.
what?
So
That
let's
skill ain't bringing in a bi-weekly or a weekly paycheck.
so
That
y'all
is
gonna go
ridiculous.
y'all
There's
gonna go back and
men
forth.
that are
Keith,
handy.
then please tap in because Lamarcus is going back to his 5 different scenarios, not landing on what I'm really saying.
So I'm gonna just ask y'all
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm gonna just ask y'all three things. You as a woman, Lashana, I know both of y'all are in relationships, I believe.
What?
What?
Lamarcus is married.
Lamarcus is married. Lashana
Oh.
is Lashana.
Lashana, you ain't in
Whoa.
thought you was in a relationship. But okay. Irregardless, Lashana as a woman, what are three
Y'all
things?
wow, bro.
What are three things that can be considered a liability for you in a man? Mm-hmm. Unless you went lesbian on us in a woman.
You go with yours first. And I would never go lesbian. Like,
Hey, no coochie.
I like masculinity, baby.
This ain't y'all been going back and forth. So Lamarcus, I'm just
Give us a break. Let you go first. We tired. We need
I've been listening to y'all.
we need a sip break.
I've been looking for a way to interject. So Lamarcus, let's say you weren't married and you were out in the world dating. And let's just go with the scenario. You met a younger woman. What would be considered a liability for you?
Why does she have to be younger?
Just the scenario. Or just
Okay.
in general, a liability in a woman. Because I think y'all got similar things that y'all going for. Liability ain't what y'all been
I think men,
defining it as.
when we think about liability, we think about a woman who can't. So even if we were to give some direction, if it's hard for you to carry out that direction without me walking you through it step to step, that's a liability. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, if you're familiar with our podcast, you know I don't remember dates well. I done a lot of shit. I had a lot of jobs. I done moved and had a couple of apartments. Like I don't remember dates well. So my wife is the type of person that remembers the first day to the last day, and I lean on her for that because that's not one of my strong suits. But when it comes to actually whatever we're using those dates for, I may have to interject on that. Like I may have to walk her through how to put that in the paperwork. You feel what I'm saying? So to me, if I
I don't feel what you're saying.
so so like if there's something that has to be filled out or put together, and it's not like a one of those little papers with all the white boxes that has put this here, put this here, put this there, I might have to walk her through how to get it done. You get what I'm saying? But she remembers all the information that needs to be on that paper.
So
However,
so
I,
what's the liability?
I just don't remember the information. So we balance each other out in that way. You get what I'm saying? If I had to remember the information and tell her how to fill out the paper, that's a liability. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense, or should I break it down in
Yeah.
No,
simple?
no,
What's
no,
your
no, no.
second one? What's
Don't
your
don't.
second one?
That was your second one. Don't break that down.
I mean, y'all, you just have to be in a situation to understand what I'm saying. Um, so yeah, not having to walk you through like step by step through directions, and I think that just being able to not like as a man, we don't need you to be at the same level that we are. But if you can't hold yourself at a particular level to where you are an asset to the situation, you are, as women like to say, I'm here to improve the situation or make the situation better, then you're a liability. If I have to, some men are okay with having housewives. They have a particular set of house skills or whatever it is, take care of the children that they maintain, and the man puts in as many hours of work or handle his business however he needs to handle it, whether it's traveling or whatever like that. But if you're just a sit at home type, don't get nothing done, don't get nothing accomplished, um, the bills are out of order, due dates are being missed, that's all a liability for a man. So if we're out putting in the work to provide the income or whatever it is that needs to be done, we want somebody that can facilitate that, that can put all that in motion. We're providing the needs
So organization.
definitely
That's what you want. Okay.
that
Somebody who's disorganized will be a liability.
disorganized, and that goes with not to be uh sounding like I'm womanizing or anything, but that's just anything that needs to be in order. The house needs to be in order. The bills needs to be in order. All that needs to we need all that kind of order. So uh yeah, just I think that all that equals up to a liability. If I have to hold your hand and walk you through it like you know I would probably my young teenage daughter or something, then it's not conducive to a successful relationship.
Okay.
All right, Lashana, what you got?
I thought you was gonna go.
No, I'm not gonna go. This is the battle of the
Okay, so be
loves.
thinking of
This is the love
be
battle.
So you need to be thinking about yours
Okay, I got one for you.
rather than okay.
I got one for you.
What is
So a woman that is really impulsive, like,
Okay.
hey, let's go here, let's go do this, let's do this, let's do this, and who's not necessarily thinking about, kind of like jumping to Lamarcus's point, the organization of it, or even the hey, let's just go here and blow a couple bands because I know you got it. I might have it, but
Oh, okay.
Get
My
it
boy
in.
said the bands, I got it.
we don't necessarily need to blow 'em. So just like a really impulsive woman who's not necessarily thinking about that, and it don't necessarily got to be money. It can be other things, just like peace. Somebody who's super impulsive, but just about like going anywhere, doing anything, and just not worrying about the next step, the day to day.
Ladies, KC said just to let y'all know he got it. All
I
right,
got
what
it.
else you got? I loved it.
No. You up next. That's the only one I got.
Mine is a man who's not emotionally intelligent.
What does
Definitely.
that mean?
Um, a man who doesn't know how to read the room. A man who has a perception of me and don't know how to handle me. Like sometimes men think that I love a dominant man. Like I love when a man is dominant. But dominance isn't about tone. It's not necessarily about stature. It's about your mindset towards how you handle me. So like don't come to me with all that aggressive stuff. I don't need you to put me in my place. Because when you treat me right, I'm gonna stay in my place. So, it's all about a man knowing how to speak to me, how to speak well to me, even when he's angry. A man who knows how to ask me certain questions if he notices something is off. Like just that emotional, a man who is like attentive, like he pays attention. That's important to me. A man who doesn't have that will be a liability to me.
What makes him a liability?
Because it's something that I need in order for me to. There are certain things that as a woman I need from my man that's going to make me a better woman. And so for him to be, I can have a tendency to have walls up. I can have a tendency to be compartmentalized. I can have a tendency to be triggered and go back to some of my trauma responses that aren't the healthiest. And so him not doing that would put me in a space of being triggered, and that wouldn't be good.
So what are some things about a man that can be a detriment to your well-being or success?
A man who's not attentive. Um, Again, a man who doesn't make good decisions. Because in so many areas of my life, I'm a decision maker. People depend on me for my wisdom, for my good decision making, and so I desire for my partner to have the capacity to also just think for me sometimes. Like sometimes I just want to kind of rest my brain. Sometimes I want him to be like, "Hey, we're going to do this on this day and that's what it is." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll show up." To not do that puts me in like a space where I get drained. And so when I get drained, I get irritable. I can be very high functioning when I'm drained, and that's just because of trauma, because I've had to be all my life. And so it's important for me. Like I know people call it like soft era, and like it's like a joke now, like, oh, women want to be in a soft era, but for real, like I need a very safe space. A very, very safe space, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. There are things that I feel very deeply that I don't always share with people. And so I need him to be like that so that I feel safe enough to show like my scars and my flaws. Cause I have flaws. I'm very high functioning. I do tend to think very clearly a lot of times, and I'm very contained. So you won't really see me lose my head or something like that. But there are things that hurt me. There are things that make me worry that I want to be able to take to my partner and uncover those and not feel like I need to always show up in the best of who I am.
Are you in tune with yourself right now enough to know what makes you a liability to a man? Or
Yes.
like just things that you would need to work
Yeah.
on immediately
Yes.
in getting into a relationship.
Um, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I would be an asset to any man that I'm with.
Hmm.
For sure, for so many different reasons. Like, you know, the way I am, my heart, my mind is very rare in how I move as a woman. Like, not many women can make a man feel safe. Like I have some toxic traits too. Like I can shut down. I can be inflexible sometimes. I can again compartmentalize. One thing that I do is like when somebody mishandles me, I kind of mentally shut down, but they don't always see the physical aspects of that. So to them, they may think I'm not even shut down, but in my mind, I've already shut down, and that's not healthy. So I definitely know that I don't think I would ever just completely be a liability to a man, but I think that there are some aspects of me that a man would need that I have to allow him into.
What about you, Casey? Are you in tune or educated about yourself enough to know what makes you a liability to a woman before, or things you might need to immediately address when getting into a relationship?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I know some things that I tried to work on in the past, like my communication. I can be, as y'all know, I kind of like I have a roundabout way of explaining things, and that can also go into my relationship. And I can also, like Lashana said, I can shut down, but not like shut down emotionally, but more so verbally. Like, because if you tell me you don't like something, and I don't have a way to like articulate how I feel about it, I just kind of go silent about some things. And you be like, "Are you not hearing me?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm hearing you, but I don't know how to articulate what you want me to do, so I'm just not going to even engage right now." And it's something that I struggle with, and it's something I have definitely gotten better with over the time. But it's something that I do not necessarily knowing I'm doing it until I like look back. Like hindsight is a motherfucker, and I be like, "Oh shit, I did that shit again."
So, a question for both of y'all. Uh, at what point, make sure I phrase this correctly, at what point, since both of you all are apparently single, uh, at what point in getting into a relationship do you decide to address those liabilities about yourselves that you spoke on? Like, at what point of the relationship or what level y'all reach in the relationship with that particular person where you like, okay, I want this to work. This looks like something that could be um, good or beneficial or whatever the case is. So I need to go ahead and address those liabilities about myself.
I think for me is I'm extremely self-aware. I'm extremely in tune with my thoughts and my feelings, so it's not hard for me to say, okay, do I need to adjust? And then I'm also going to ask myself, why do I need to adjust? And why is this showing up in this relationship? Because sometimes, yes, it's like me making a choice, but do I not feel safe? And do I need to talk to my partner about the fact that I don't feel safe? Do I not feel seen? Do I not feel valued? I don't have a problem being open. Most people would not know that about me, but like I can be very, very open, but I have to feel safe to do it. Like I internally protect myself. And so if I don't feel safe, if I don't feel seen, if I don't feel heard, it's not going to come out. So sometimes the most difficult thing is being very transparent or vulnerable with the person that I'm with to say, hey, I don't feel seen. And then this is why I don't feel seen. Or I don't feel heard. This is why I don't feel heard. So
So,
it's more about collaborating with the person that I'm with.
so you feel like uh, some of those things, some of those things are things that don't come up unless you don't feel heard or seen,
Yeah.
or some of those things are. So you feel like these liabilities that you spoke of, that you understand about yourself, they may not ever appear if the man comes off in a protective kind of way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Push you in the
Now, there are times where I may be operating out of fear, but again, because I'm so self aware, I always take my thoughts and my feelings through a process. I'm a very discerning person. So sometimes I feel something, I take it through a filter. I ask myself, is this really what it is? Is this your body or your mind or your spirit signifying that there's something you need to look into? Or are you operating out of your own past trauma or your fears? And when I get real honest with myself about that, I think that's one of the most healthy things that I do. It's like sometimes it's like, nah, you just operating out of fear. Chill. Like, but sometimes it's no, it's not that you operating out of fear, it's that you don't feel safe. So it's important to go through like that filtering process before you just impulsively be like, oh, well, I feel like this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's like, okay, maybe this is more about me than it is about the person. Is this person making me feel safe? And now I'm getting scared because if I were to be honest, I do have trust issues. Like, I do have certain mindsets about certain things. And so I'm always going to be like, stay vigilant. I'm vigilant. Like as a man, if you from a certain place, your head is always on a swivel when you out. You vigilant. You know what's going on so that you're not caught lacking. I'm like that emotionally and mentally. I'm vigilant. My head is on a swivel. You need to know what's going on. You need to know because, listen, people will bust your heart out your chest. Not everybody, but I'm very, very vigilant because I'm real with myself about the fact that I do have some trust issues. And it's not always from a place of like, oh, everybody cheat or nothing like that. It's more so rooted in people aren't as honest as they should be or transparent as they should be. And people don't know how to handle you and hold the most sacred parts of you. They don't know how to hold that and handle that.
I hear that.
Yeah.
KC,
It's getting deep.
so that's pretty much the same question for you. At what point do you address those liabilities that you know about yourself, or is there like a particular stage that you have to reach with a woman before you even, or are you like Shauna? Is it automatic until you feel uh, that you're not receiving or your energy is not being reciprocated?
Oh no, for my liabilities, for me, I try to, especially more recently in the last 2-3 years, I try to be more upfront about how I am as a person. I can be nonchalant at times. I can be very much so oblivious. I can miss some things. Some things can go over my head. I cannot be as intensive as LaShawna says about certain things. But that's just me. And so I try to let the person know, like, up front, like, hey, this is me. It's things that I try to work on, but I'm going to falter at some points in time. Like, it's not that I'm ignoring you or I'm not listening to you. It's just habits that I've built over a long period of time. And a long period of time of me being single and me dealing with myself, because I haven't been in a lot of real relationships. Most of my relationships have been either long and broken up or tag and go. Like, oh, okay, dealing with this woman, not dealing with this woman. Oh, didn't work out. Oh, that was a 2-month stint. Shit done. Oh, well. And then I just go about my business. I guess she didn't get me how she's supposed to get me, but it's something I really try to be more upfront about. Hey, I'm nonchalant. I can miss some things. Hey, I'm not good with dates. Just like LaMarcus, I'm not good with dates. I'm going to forget a date left and right. There's so many birthdays. I'm like, oh, shit. That birthday was yesterday. How I missed that?
I'm on a new level now, boy. I catch flights. Yeah. Nah.
But me as a liability, I understand that I can be, but I understand that I have a lot to offer as well. So accepting me is dealing with my liabilities, but I give you a breath of so much more. Not to brag on myself. Ladies, I'm pretty nice.
He got that bag and he nice.
And then this last go around, I was on my, it didn't work out, but the shit was fire.
You never
Hey,
know.
you gotta catch
It
them
might
flights,
come.
my boy.
It might come back around. You don't think it might come back around?
I ain't holding my breath.
I feel
Damn,
it.
shit crazy. So let me ask y'all both before we move on to a new topic. What advice would y'all give to other women and men that understand the triggers, traumas, and liabilities about themselves and are looking to date or looking for long term, but want to make sure that they don't sabotage themselves. So they want to make sure they don't let these triggers, traumas, and liabilities get in the way of them being in a successful relationship. However, as Shauna stated, some of these triggers, traumas, and liabilities could be warning signs or, check engine light signs. So,
Right.
uh, what advice would y'all give to them to be able to navigate that into a healthy relationship?
Uh, First, I would say is like you said, you have to be aware of it. You have to know what what what's not necessarily negative, but what baggage you're bringing to the table. What are your demons? What do you struggle with? And a lot of times that might not be apparent to somebody. So that's why therapy is important. That's why talking to other individuals and getting getting to know yourself from a different lens, not just how you see yourself. Because you see yourself a certain way, and I definitely see myself a certain way. It's only through other people telling me how I am that I saw it. Because I would have thought I was the greatest guy in the world. But then me talking to friends, me talking to women, me looking back on situations that I dealt with and seeing that I wasn't necessarily wrong, but I wasn't right either
Right.
in these situations.
So, just I don't mean to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
I just want to clarify. I and what I mean is I don't want people to work on themselves so much that they become vulnerable to whatever could happen. So if these, like trying to say, if you realize you don't feel there's a point in the relationship that you don't feel safe or you don't feel not safe as in harmed or in danger, but that you don't feel you're in a safe space or you're not being emotionally protected by the individual that you're potentially going to be emotionally vulnerable with. So you don't want to put yourself all the way out there, but at the same time, you don't want to put up so many walls that you reject or you kind of neglect what can possibly be. I just want to put that in that statement that I made before so that you understand what I'm asking.
I ain't gonna lie, you just lost me.
Sean
I
understands. What I'm saying
Yeah,
is
I think it's good advice.
so what I'm saying is a person wants to get in a relationship. They understand their triggers, traumas, and response and liabilities. They want to make sure these trigger traumas and liabilities don't get in the way of them being in a healthy relationship. So, they don't want to be like, oh, such and such didn't answer the phone tonight, so he must be with another bitch. Or, oh, such and such said she was going out with a homegirl, but she ain't texting back. They must be with some nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are trauma responses. Can we agree?
Yeah.
for sure.
So so you don't want those to cause you to be in an unhealthy relationship by you overreacting or overthinking. However, you don't want the things that you know could be warning signs of a person that you're trying to date to be ignored either. So how do you balance the two? How do you balance the two into a successful relationship?
I think like always taking your thoughts and your feelings through that process that I talked about. But I also think we should seek alignment. Like I think too many times, people are choosing people only because of their status or only because of the way they look, which those things are important. But also because the sex is good, I think we should more so start to have a priority around, does this person make me feel safe enough to be authentically myself? Can I let my guard down? And I think we should start letting our guard down in layers. You know, you give somebody a layer, see how they handle it. They handle that well, peel back another layer. If they don't handle it so well, talk about it. Is it something that's detrimental? And then also be clear about your expectations. I think sometimes we too scared to really say, hey, this is my expectation. Or you got people telling you either on one end of the spectrum too far on don't settle and not really being realistic. But at the same time, I think too many people these days, it's about getting and not getting got. Like, I can't let nobody get me. But at some point, you got to get tired of being in situations where you can't fully show up. It's like, it's no point of that. Why be with somebody when you can't fully show up with that person? So I think we should start seeking alignment more than we seeking the other things. That should definitely be the priority. Get somebody, like, because at the end of the day, you can do all the work in the world. You can be in therapy. But it's some stuff that's on the job training. You got to be in that relationship. But you got to find somebody who says, listen, I know you got those triggers and traumas, and it's okay. I'm here to navigate through it with you. Like, I got you. You're not in this by yourself. And they learn you and they help you to navigate through those things. But a lot of times we do, like, we giving a person a representative of who we are, or we're with people who don't have the capacity for our triggers, traumas, and responses. Like, you might have somebody. Now, I'm not talking about enabling somebody. Like, I'm not screenshotting every time I call you because you don't believe I called you and putting a location on my phone. That's me enabling you. But what I can do is say, hey, I got you. You're not in this alone. What I can do is be attentive to your triggers and traumas. If I know you a better man out here because women have hit you below the belt with stuff that you opened up and was transparent about, I'm going to make it a priority to make sure I don't do that. I'm going to make it a priority to make you feel safe as a man. Like, hey, you don't have to be afraid. Like, I'll never throw that up. Like, even if we don't make it, even if we go our separate ways, the things that you share with me will always stay with me, type of thing. Because sometimes women, we could be overly critical towards men without really knowing it. But you got to get somebody who can help you navigate it. And usually, like, y'all can't be struggling in all the same areas together because y'all can't help each other. But that's where the alignment comes in. Like, it feels good as a woman to hear a man be like as a woman who has always been self-sufficient, I'm not overly independent, but I need a man who's going to affirm me on, you ain't got to do this by yourself. Like, you don't have to make this hard decision by yourself. Like, you're not in this by yourself. Like, you trying to make this decision. I got to do this and I need to put this in place. And it's like, baby, slow down. You ain't in this by yourself, instead of a man who's going to get offended and be like, well, you just overly independent. You don't give me no opportunity to do nothing. It's like, my first mind is solution. My first mind is not, let me get emotional and lay down in the bed for 5 days. My first mind is solution. Wow, that's a great thing. It's something that has been birthed through trauma of having to figure it out on my own. So I got to have a man who's not overly sensitive when my headlight is out or my check engine light come on and I go to the parts store to let them run it and I get the codes and I start researching it. He can't be like sensitive about it. He got to be like, give me the code. Go sit down somewhere. Let me see what parts you need. Let me see if there's something we need to take to the shop. Let me see if there's something that, can be done at home. This might be something, it might be a gas cap, But I've always had to do those things. So my mind, check engine light, solution, boom. Go to the parts store, let them run it. What are my codes? All right, what does it say is the first fix? But I might not immediately just say, oh, babe, my check engine light, I don't know what to do. I can't have no man who's just overly sensitive about that, but a man who says, I got you. You ain't got to figure this out on your own, And that's that emotional intelligence. So I think finding that alignment is important.
I get that. So once that man starts to show you that, babe, what's going on with the car? Like, what'd you say happened? Let me see. All right, we'll take care of it. Type of thing.
Yes, please.
You
My
you let
God.
that you let that wall down is what you say.
Yes. I'm letting it down. I like, you know, it's a couple things I'm looking forward to when it comes to marriage. One, a 2 income household. Baby, I do it by myself and I pay my bills, but a 2 income household to where it's a little bit of ease. I would love that. And I'm also looking forward to being able to just be like, my husband got it. Like, I think that that's going to make me a better woman. I think it's going to make me 2 times as productive. I think that it's going to bring out a side of me that is so far buried within me. Those are the things that I look forward to when it comes to marriage. Like, yeah, look, we ain't gotta never post on Instagram and Facebook, but just know I'm well taken care of. I'm looking
You
forward to
do
that.
know you do know it's men that do that don't be married to you.
Yes, I agree. I agree. But it needs to lead to marriage. Like, I'm 38 and I'm not about to be nobody girlfriend forever. Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna start there, and it has to start in a relationship because I'm not gonna marry somebody if I don't feel like they can do that. I want to be able to pull my guard down and be like, he got it, but it also has a man that really got me. Not a man who's like, well, I got you right now, but I'm just looking forward to it. To like, marriage is different. You know how I feel about marriage. Like, when you marry, you locked in for real. Girlfriend, you die, I'm in your obituary. Special friend, I ain't no beneficiary on nothing.
no,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't make no decisions if you're in the hospital. So it starts there, but I don't expect to be I'm not living with somebody before I get married, so I can't have a 2 income household. Now, what I will have is my man to say, hey, oh, I got that for you. I'll pay for that. Don't worry about that. I love that. I don't mind paying. But it's somebody when a man pull out his card and be like, I got it. I don't even care if it's Chipotle. It just feels good.
yeah.
You know?
You say you're not living with a man before y'all get married.
No, baby, I ain't shacking. No,
Okay. So,
I ain't
Casey,
shacking. And
what?
you wanna marry you wanna live with me, baby? We got to be married. We
So
got
I
to be
would
able to file
assume
our taxes
I,
together.
I I would assume that you're at the stage of life now to where marriage, like you getting married, doesn't have a time stamp on it. Like if y'all dating for say y'all dating for 8 months and he just decide y'all had that conversation, go heart to heart, and he decides like I want to marry you. You ready?
I'm ready.
That's what's up.
And listen, we ain't spending 20,000 on the wedding for people to come eat with us.
Yeah,
We
we
ain't
just
doing
getting
that.
there.
I want
Get the
something
paperwork
nice.
in.
Yeah, I want something nice. I want to celebrate with my people and have a good time. But I don't need this big
Okay,
fairy
so
tale to show somebody.
you still want the celebration. You don't want just the paperwork.
Right. Yeah, I want to share it
Okay.
with like my close people. I want to like come out, have a good time, But we not paying $40 for a plate for everybody for some food that don't taste good. People don't bring us gifts to start our marriage off.
Yeah.
Honestly, the wedding starts to become more about the people than it does about the two people that's getting married.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's if we 8 months and we locked in and it makes sense, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not like, oh no, we need, because you're gonna forever be learning a person. You can't learn a person fully, and we all evolve. Who I was at 30 is not who I am at 38.
Yeah.
What I wanted when I was 30 is some of it is what I want, but some of it I'm like, I don't even want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
KC, so speaking for the man, like, let me know
Let you know what.
what.
Keith in mind is not here at this
What you?
podcast.
Nah.
He's not.
No.
My
Lamarcus,
boy's in the Cliz house.
Lamarcus took over as host.
And I love it. My boy and he and his question bag tonight.
No. Just like, what was the question? Because y'all know
I'm
y'all.
just going. I'm going based off what the conversation was to understand because you guys are dating or you guys are in the dating stages and you
I'm
guys.
single.
You're
I,
dating.
and Shauna is Shauna. We heard. But what I'm
Is
saying,
thank you. Okay, let them know.
cause just the other week, I was like,
That's not true. Don't spray me like that on the podcast. Do not spray me.
I
That
mean,
is not true.
I don't mean the other week like last week. I mean the other week like last time I seen you.
I ain't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
I have not seen you in a long time. Do not spray me on this
We
podcast.
been pandemic. Everybody been in the house.
Have people asking questions like, "Oh, just the other week, you don't spray me like that,
Nah.
nah."
But
All right.
anyway,
What was the question?
on the male side, like, is there like a particular excuse me? Is there a particular sign you need to see, or is there a particular like level you need to get at before you start letting down those trauma walls? And like, how do you stop yourself from being? How do you stop yourself from putting up the walls that stop you from being hurt and being too vulnerable, balanced off with not what balanced off with you um, making yourself vulnerable enough to love and learn a person?
That's a weird question for me because I'm kind of like non-traditional, and I'm non-traditional in a way where I started off life as very guarded, and at this point in my life, I'm like very unguarded. Like,
So you kind of so what you get into relationships
oh no, I don't just get in
without any
relationships.
reservations is what you're saying?
Hold up, say that again.
You get into relationships without any reservations. Like, I'm not even going to consider the past that I've been through and little signs that I know that something might be going on, or you might have some soul ties over here, or you might have some baggage over there. Like, are you like completely putting all that to the side and going in fresh and new, and is accepting or just learning from whatever the person is giving you, or do you have any reservations to where I'm going to learn from my last situation and I'm
Oh
going
yeah,
to it like this?
most definitely. When I say like I for most of my life I've been guarded. That's true. That's true. I always look for signs that I've been told, like, hey, a woman shouldn't be like this, she shouldn't be like this. So if you see these signs, then you should definitely be guarded. You should definitely watch out for her. And then for most of my life, I ain't gonna say I've been like a dog. I ain't been out here dogging women. I've been more so reserved in how I looked at women and been like, okay, she's maybe not the one for me based off of this and based off my preconceived notions. So I never put a lot into a relationship. I was always nonchalant about stuff. I was always like, okay, yeah, we talking, but this ain't really gonna go nowhere because you do this, and I really can't get with that. And this is not on no man shit, because I think for a lot of men, they actually let a lot of women in unguarded, and then they just toss women aside just based off of a lot of preconceived notions and toxic masculinity. I can say for certain I haven't really been toxic in most of my life. I had a phase. You can call it my whole phase, but I definitely had a phase. But for the most part, it's really been me. But like, I don't want anybody to come in and disturb my peace because I was so used to being alone. And then now I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to be alone. I like feel that loneliness that I had in the past that I was cool with, and now I'm just like, damn, that shit creeping back up. And I think for like the last 2-3 years, I had been like searching, and this past situation, it had went so well that I kind of got back to that place where I've been like, oh shit, I kind of want to be okay with that loneliness again, because, and I completely lost my point, but but
You
might
want to
go
be
to
lonely?
place.
No. Not necessarily lonely, but being okay with being alone, like I was in the past.
So that's a trauma response. Because you were hurt, you're like the loneliness is better.
Not necessarily better, but being okay with it
It's a way to cope.
is a way to cope.
Avoidance. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I need a goddamn pipe, son. I ain't too many nights.
That is so toxic. That is so toxic and traumatic.
But yeah, for the most part, like now, I've been okay with being open and letting somebody in, and letting somebody get to know the real me, and not necessarily like a front that I've been putting on, just to make a relationship work.
So what parts of you do you feel the most uncomfortable letting people in that now or in your last situation you were okay letting her into it?
It's just not like I don't want somebody to know these parts of me, that like parts of me are forbidden. It's just more really like being open and honest with people, and then about not necessarily about a certain thing, because it's a lot of things that I talk about on the podcast that I'm not reserved about, and I'm okay with speaking to people.
So
about.
when you're with somebody, what are those things that you haven't felt comfortable before, but you do now feel like, hey, I want to open this part of me up?
Just really just like being open and 100% honest with somebody, not necessarily about a certain topic, but just like
But you don't have an
all
example
my
of a topic.
all my thoughts and all my
Your
feelings, all of my emotions, how I feel about you, how I really
So
feel
that's
like
something.
deep down about you,
Are
like
you at the stage right now where a person can do something that triggers you or initiates one of your traumas and you speak on it right away?
am I hold up, say that again?
Are you at the stage or level right now to where you're dating someone and they do something to that would normally trigger you or is a ignition to one of your traumas and you speak on it right away? Because let me just say, I've always been the type of person, and I don't know, it might be the cancer in me, but um, I've always been the type of person where if you trigger me or if you initiate one of my what I what Shauna would consider traumas, I'm not gonna really address it. I'm just gonna kind of shut down emotionally. I can admit that. Um, I will shut down emotionally, and you'll probably feel that I'm shut down and be wondering like where's the bubbliness or where's the sudden change or whatever the case is, but I've shut down emotionally, and I do that in a number of um, situations and atmospheres. But what I'm saying is
So why don't you address it though?
because I can be overly like I feel like sometimes that puts you in a vulnerable state to where you address something like that and it makes you vulnerable to that person. Like they 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 play on that a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But my thing is I don't I don't want you to stop being who you are. So sometimes when you advise a person that they're doing something that you notice, you could be right, you could be wrong. It's a 50-50 thing, right? But you can also be just informing them of like, I noticed this, and this usually leads to that. So then they just switch it up. And they start doing what they were doing, but in a different way. That makes sense.
I think so.
What I'm saying is like So if I'm noticing like, you know, certain nights you want to be on the phone all night, certain nights you're like, oh, I'm going to bed 3, 4 hours earlier than you would normally go to bed. Okay, that's fine. But if I'm if I'm with you on those certain nights, I'm noticing like you're not going to bed at that time you said you was going to bed.
To change your routine. The
You feel what I'm
routine.
saying?
One
So it's
plus
just
one
like,
is not equaling two. Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
I don't know how to do multiplication. So I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you feel what I'm saying? So it's just like it could be nothing. I could be over exaggerating. Cool. I accept and I allow that to be the case. However,
Mm-hmm.
it's not adding up. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to approach that. So I would say my response to your question would be I don't know how to approach what I'm feeling, and I probably don't know how to convey what I'm feeling. So if I feel it, I'ma just feel it until it's clear. We can have a clear cut conversation. Because anything else is assumptions and accusations.
Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong.
Mm.
So it's just what I'm feeling. Oh, you being insecure. Oh, you overthinking. Oh, you making more of it than what it is. But if there's a clear cut pattern or there's something that you can point to that clear that can make what you feeling as clear as what you're saying, then you
Mm-hmm.
can have a conversation about it. But if I can't make it clear to you, I'm just conveying my feelings, my
Mm-hmm.
own thoughts and accusations. You don't see it how I see it, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
just what are we really talking about? So I feel like that's why I don't talk about it because it's like, what are we really talking about? I'm only talking to you about what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? It's not clear to you, or you don't see it how I see it, and I don't have anything to back up or support what I'm saying. Just like some of these questions I'm asking y'all like, wait, what? Because y'all ain't been married, so y'all don't know. Like shit be flaky. Like what? You feel what I'm saying? So if you haven't been in that scenario, that's just like people talking to people about kids. If you don't have no kids, you don't understand what people be talking about when they be like, "Oh, you cooking dinner and your kid asking you for something to eat." You be like, "Okay, they want a snack." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get it until you
Yeah.
have kids and you go through that particular situation. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Or it's simple as changing a diaper, and you go to change the diaper, and the fucking kid piss in your face. Like, I thought he already pissed. Like, I don't get it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like you're not experiencing it, so you can't convey what you're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? So I think that's why I don't speak on it. I let it ride out until I have something to back up what I'm feeling and have a proper way to convey what I'm
I
feeling.
don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I can kind of feel what you're saying because I do that. I build a case at the end of the day, but I do it because I know that I do it especially when I'm dealing with somebody. Like I just be like, okay, that don't make sense. Noted. Okay, that's out of the routine. Okay, noted. And then again, I'll take it through my filtering system. But I don't never bring something to a person without hard down receipts.
That's what
Because
I'm
one,
saying.
one thing I do also know about a man, unless you got hard down receipts, he gonna make you feel crazy. You gonna be gaslit. It's like he gonna start making you think like, well, maybe it's me, maybe I'm tripping. But you can't argue with hard down receipts. And then I'm gonna have examples, like specific examples, like, hey, okay, this, and this, and then this, and this. And it's like I can't just go to you and be like, I had a dream about this or I have a feeling about this. Cause again, men, you gotta come to them with hard down receipts. Where women mess up at, women will act off of emotions and be like, nah, cause da da da, and then the man, he be done flipped it on you so bad that you confused. It's like you gotta play the long game. not even saying somebody's necessarily doing something, but you got to play the long game. Just note certain things, certain patterns of behavior, certain trends. When 1+1 not equaling 2, notate and get your hard down receipts. Don't go prematurely before you have your receipts.
Yeah,
Cause
that's what
yeah, all right, and the first thing, all right, man, think what you want to think, bro. All right, cool. Yeah, that's what you think, man. All right, nah, you ain't gonna all right think what you want to think. Exhibit A,
that's what I'm saying.
Exhibit B.
So that's how I feel, and I feel like and that's what I meant by if I just tell you how I feel off the ripper, you gonna be like, think what
Yeah.
you think. Let me switch the game up real quick. Motherfucker,
That think what you want to think. All right, bro, man, think what you want to think,
you
man.
feel what I'm saying? And you just gonna switch the game up. Like you gonna just play it a little different. Now
Yeah.
you gonna goddamn hit me up before you get into your little situation and all that type shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let you keep running your shit how you running your shit because you'll see that I peep what the fuck going on. So you gonna keep just playing it how you playing it, and then when it come down to it, or when shit start hitting the surface, then I'm gonna be like, well, shit, you done did this shit like 3, 4 nights, like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, blah blah blah. But like I said, it's the cancer in me. I just also feel like. I just also feel like if you
Why
gonna
you
step
laugh?
on something, if you gonna address something, if you gonna step on something, be prepared to do whatever you want to do, type shit. Like if you stepping on something to get some straightening and you don't get no straightening, whatever you was gonna do after you got that straightening, be prepared to do that. Cause if you ain't gonna do that, shut up and do what the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like if you accusing the
Basically,
female,
if he cheat, let him cheat in peace unless you gonna do something.
All I hear from Lamarcus is trauma.
I'm just saying, I'm just speaking on as a male. I don't know what a female gonna do. Female gonna do what she gonna do. As a man, you gonna accuse that female of fucking with other niggas or fucking with other people? Casey, edit that out. But if you gonna accuse that female of fucking with other people and you ain't gonna stop fucking her, you ain't gonna stop eating that pussy. Shut up and eat that pussy.
What?
What?
Why the fuck you even talk about fucking with other niggas? Like,
Oh my
nigga,
God, we done went to after dark and got roached
yeah,
with the
we-
nasty mouth.
What happened? What was the topic? I don't even think I completed my point, but that's all right.
You was trying to skate by a little bit, not talking about what you be opening
all
up
that.
about. What you opened up
Edit
to
all
the
that.
last girl about. She had that golden.
So
You know what?
I told her I would never have done this in the past. 2 months in that I had feelings for her.
What? Why?
It's never been me. It's never been something.
If
that
you
I
have
avoid.
feelings for somebody, why wouldn't you tell them?
2 months
what is
in,
the fucking
most of
thing?
my dealings with women, I'm like,
What does I have feelings
Okay.
for you mean? Like y'all was friends?
no, nigga.
Yeah, so what you mean you got feelings? Duh, nigga, we dated. Like what?
Was you hearing her raw within 2 months?
LaShawn,
Wanna know
You had feelings for her.
LaShawn, I have hit a lot of things raw within 2 months, so that ain't had nothing to do with it.
Y'all crazy.
Paula ting ting.
Y'all
Really?
crazy.
Not with the
How is
condom
that
on?
even a question? What is going on?
What is 2 months? Keep in mind, I don't deal with a lot of women. I don't juggle women.
What is
left and
2
right.
on, let
months?
me ask
What
y'all
is
a
2
question.
months to risk your life and risk putting a baby in somebody?
Oh my
What?
God. So let me ask you a question, Shauna.
I grew
So
up a
What
wild
is
boy.
2 months?
once you become sexually active with a person, how long or what stage do y'all have to reach before they start hitting it raw?
I'm not letting nobody hit me raw. I'm not letting nobody hit me. I'm not sexually active. That hasn't changed.
All right,
What?
moving on, man.
Moving on.
You want to goddamn play these
What?
games?
What? I'm not sexually active.
Alright, yeah, alright.
I am abstinent.
Yeah, alright.
I don't know why that's so hard. Here we go again, boy. This is reminding me of season 1 and 2. I don't know why it's so hard to believe that some people are disciplined enough to be abstinent.
That's all good.
I'm not letting nobody put no baby in me. Are you crazy? I'm not about to be a 40-year-old mother.
How long you been abstinent?
My whole life.
Yeah, alright.
All I'm saying is I would have never in 2 months revealed my exact feelings for a woman.
So you feel
before.
comfortable completely sharing your body unshielded with a woman, but not the fact that you have feelings for her.
I am a man, Lashana, and this is what we do.
Y'all need the
Emotions are harder for men than busting something down
raw.
raw.
It's different busting somebody down, but
And even more so for me, emotions have always been something that I have struggled with conveying.
So, Shauna, you get into a relationship going good, and y'all become sexually active. Is there another stage the relationship has to reach before y'all start doing the raw?
me personally, in theory, if I was having sex, I would not have sex with somebody that I couldn't have sex with raw. So there's no like, okay, we start out with a condom and now I trust you more, so we raw. I would never have sex with somebody that I couldn't have sex with raw. That's why it has to be my husband.
So marriage.
That's why it has to be my husband.
You ain't having sex
Again, I just told you I was abstinent my whole life.
You're a virgin.
Yes. Why are you talking about again?
KC.
I'm not celibate. I'm abstinent. It's a difference.
Abstinence means you stop having sex.
No, celibacy means you stopped and you're recommitting to that. Abstinent means you're not having sex.
So you've never had sex before.
Correct.
Are we putting this in the podcast?
KC. So because Shauna would have got that J faking there, you know what I'm talking about?
Really? I have said this on multiple podcasts. I don't understand why you think I would get on here and lie as a 38-year-old woman.
She's been saying this since we started recording.
And I'm not gonna let nobody shame me. If you don't shame people for having raw sex within a month, 2 days, 4 days, you're not about to shame me for my decision on remaining abstinent.
Where the truth lies. That's all I do.
I've been consistent. I have said this consistently. I want to have sex with my husband raw. I don't want to have to worry about wearing a condom. I'm not about to give no man. Well, that's you. That's how you roll. But for me, I'm not letting just no man slut me out and he ain't my husband. That's no.
That's a slut shame.
So, I said personally, I'm not letting no man who not my husband slut me out.
If a woman let a dude perform oral sex on her, is she still a virgin?
Yes, she has not been penetrated. I mean, but that has nothing to do with me. But I think, at the end of the day, she hasn't been penetrated. But I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with me.
And at the end of the day, I would say,
at the end of the day gotta end.
And on that note,
yeah, Glow.
Thank y'all for joining us. This has been the Heartbreak State of Mind. I have been your outroist, KC, here with the First Lady of Heartbreak State of Mind, Lashana.
I love it.
And our resident, suit-wearing, legal, binding defender of all men, Mr. Black Cup himself, LaMarcus.
He is losing the cases tonight.
I'm a public defender. I'm supposed to lose cases.
Thank y'all for joining us. We out.